Greetings and welcome to our fourth edition of Business Glide here on Herman Manyora's channel. My name is Richard Mwanja. Now, half the time we talk about universal health coverage, and one of the agencies compelled to drive this agenda is none other than the National Hospital Insurance Fund, NHIF. Now, with a record loss of 3.6 billion in the financial year 2018-2019, do we see a change in tact in NHIF management? Nonetheless, last week we saw a raft of proposals in its activities, which of course seek to cut its cost by at least 3 billion. Now, to delve into this conversation, I'm joined by none other than Professor Herman Manyora. Professor, welcome on set.
Thank you, Richard.
All right, Professor, we saw last week, of course, sharp criticism directed towards NHIF. And this is regarding, of course, a raft of reforms in terms of downscaling the benefits, of course, to kidney patients, now the renal sector. Now, these doctors under the Kenya Renal Association umbrella have argued that at least 5,000 of kidney patients will, of course, be at jeopardy. Why? We see benefits that were initially directed to kidney patients being downgraded in terms of NHIF now giving lower payouts to those patients in this sector. Now, do you see this as the only conduit for NHIF to cut its savings, or it should diversify its asset management and also revenue generation?
You know, I don't know how to answer your question, because NHIF is a fraud. Ab initio, as the lawyers would put, from the word go, is a big fraud on the Kenyan people.
All right.
By Kenyan leaders.
I see.
Is a conduit for eating. Is a conduit for corruption. We don't need NHIF.
Really?
Absolutely no. We don't need it. These are American ways of doing things where you make money on using people's lives. I don't think it's the right way to go. So if you ask me, we should abolish NHIF. We don't need it.
All right, and we've actually also seen among the proposals that the average payouts for renal analysis will drop from 9,500 shillings to 6,000 Kenya shillings. Now, there is a change in cards here, whereby you find kidney patients are now downgraded in terms of payouts, whereas the cancer patients, their payouts are increased, and they are banking the argument that we are having increased number of cancer patients in the country. But we also, quite the contrary, we also see there is an uptake, or rather an increasing number of also kidney patients. Shouldn't we leverage on the both fronts and just give them equal attention?
Yeah, you see, it depends on how we want to approach this issue.
All right.
I can approach it your way, and then we deal with micro issues within the sector, the health sector. And of course, then the NHIF is a big chunk of that in our current thinking. And while at NHIF, then you ask me whether scaling down the benefit to renal patients, kidney patients,
all right,
is something worth considering as a cost-cutting measure, and whether they should be at par with cancer. Of course, I'll give you plastic answers, and I'll tell you, well, all these are Kenyans who are suffering, and if they have been insured, there should be no discrimination against renal patients. The benefit that accrue to them should be as much as possible similar to benefit that accrue or these other patients get, cancer patients. That would be a very plastic way of looking at the issue.
All right.
In my thinking, that is neither here nor there. But to answer your question, yes, in fact, just as we are having increased cases of cancer in this country, alarming actually, so are we having the renal
disorders, etc.
Yeah, issues raised coming up and becoming more and more in the country.
Right.
So you cannot use the argument that we are more cancer patients, so use that argument to deny renal patients the benefits that should get. That would be a weak argument, certainly.
All right, and Professor, we are seeing, should Parliament fully adopt the NHIF Amendment Bill 2021, we'll see any person above the age of 18 being compelled to contribute towards NHIF. Now, if you factor in that there are huge levels of unemployed graduate etc., don't you see that we should henceforth work on a front whereby we tweak the schedules here and there and see fresh graduates at least being given a leeway, a 2-year free service from NHIF, in as much as they will be at least taking up new initiatives towards self-employment or getting employment, so that even when they'll be on the payrolls, they will now be willingly voluntary into NHIF etc. Instead of anyone from 18 years, no salary, no income, yet they are expected to now contribute to NHIF.
It is part of the cheap thinking I'm talking about.
All right.
But just to answer your question, yes, it's good to understand that when somebody has been in school, they haven't gotten a job, they are having the pain of looking for a job. Like in this country, looking for a job is pain.
All right.
Looking for it is itself a job, a full-time job, looking for a job, with all the frustration. You cannot add more frustration by asking the same person to pay for NHIF. But the same argument can be extended to any other Kenyan who doesn't have a job.
All right.
So that's why you must now come back to the bigger issue. The bigger issue is, do we need NHIF? The answer is no. But let's continue discussing along your line.
All right, but skeptics will counter your narrative and say that NHIF actually need the numbers. So every Kenyan above age of 18 should contribute to it so that at least it can have some solid capitation so that it can run its program and also inch closer to the universal health coverage.
You see, a young minister in charge of health, he once said, you see, let's pay, was it 2,500? And people made a lot of noise. But he said, that's money I use for my lunch. And people didn't understand what he meant. What he meant is, let those who have money contribute toward the health of fellow Kenyans. So one would argue, why can't we get money from those who are already working and spare those who are not working, or they just pay minimal, like 100 shillings or 50 shillings to contribute, but still get benefit because of for purpose of equity in society.
All right.
So the question of numbers, of course, makes a lot of sense. The more people you have in the fund, the more the money, the more the outreach, the more the benefits. But you and I know that is not the case. This is money that's going to be squandered.
All right.
You know, an extreme example, which may not actually be true, it may be an exaggeration. A young man without even college education, I suspect, was found with hundreds of millions, and he was living somewhere in Kitengela, and people were saying he was even coming on duty using helicopter. Of course, it's an exaggeration, but it goes to show you how much money people make from NHIF.
Right.
People put up short. I took my late father, God rest his soul, Mzee Moja Pumzika Juu. I took him to a small facility in Kisumu.
All right.
All facilities were packed. We walked. Actually, I was in Nairobi. I was directing from Nairobi.
All right.
My wife and my son and other people walked with him from one facility to other. They were all full. They got a small facility. When I went 2 days later, the emergency aspects had been dealt with. Now he was just an ordinary patient. They were so disappointed to learn that the old man didn't have NHIF. I could see and not I could see, they were voicing it. These small things you see, shabby little things calling themselves nursing homes and hospitals, they have been set up to make money from NHIF.
All right.
You get?
Yeah, true.
And because the way they charge you as a person is not the same way they charge you if you have an insurance. Not just NHIF, government employees. A good example is a friend of mine, God rest his soul, a colleague at the University of Nairobi. He went to a hospital, I don't want to mention it, one of these big 5, big 3, big 4. And the bill was like, I don't know how much, a lot of money. But the wife of this colleague was working in a big parastatal in this country. So when the university was taking time to clear because of cash problems we have sometimes, sometimes we take time, then they clear. The wife organized for the employer to come and clear. Because the employer, though a parastatal, was keen, the bill was reduced by more than half. I see. When they see you either coming from a government institution or you have an insurance that doesn't care, and especially NHIF, the bill is just messed with figures. So what I'm saying is that I want to go back where we started. NHIF is a fraud.
All right. And Professor, now, if we are to talk about inching closer to the universal health coverage, of course, one of the big manifestos under the Jubilee administration, shouldn't we now henceforth look at county governments partnering with NHIF to see that in a spree at least to cushion all vulnerable members of the society, talk of the widows, the orphans, and also the less fortunate. Now that we're experiencing hard economic times due to coronavirus, and we are not sure how long we are going to stay the virus, or upcoming ones will come into the picture. As a country, shouldn't we now work on a platform whereby all vulnerable members of the society are fully catered for instead of partial contribution from NHIF? So government works with devolved governments and fully take care of the vulnerable in society.
We should take care of everybody in society, especially those who are not capable.
All right.
A society is judged by how well it treats the less fortunate members of society. If you are a strong person, we judge you how you treat the weak around you.
All right.
Okay? If you are the best in your family, we will judge you not by the number of degrees you have, not the cars you drive, not the house you have put up, but how do you relate with your less fortunate siblings.
All right.
So yes, we should do that. But talking of county governments, counties like Kitui have tried.
True. The other day,
look here.
Yeah.
It is the most stupid thing that serves to demonstrate what I've been trying to tell you
All right.
when we started. You are a county government,
All right.
just as a government. You take money to put to NHIF to be stolen by the people there.
I see.
Why don't you give people health care? Allow me 1 minute, Richard, to tell you what I'm talking about.
All right. Go ahead.
When we gained independence from the British in this country in 1963, there was King George Hospital, the current Kenyatta National Hospital, a referral hospital.
All right.
There were mental hospitals like there was Madare Mental Hospital. There was a spinal cord injury hospital. Those at that level. Then every province, initially 6 or so, but finally 8, 7 with Nairobi as an extra province, had provincial hospital. You get it? Kakamega General Hospital. Nyeri Provincial General Hospital. Then we had about 36 or so, I can't remember, districts. Every district had a district hospital. Then we had sub-districts.
All right.
Nyambene, Nyamira, Vihiga,
All
that later became districts. They had sub-district hospitals. You see I'm going? Under that, we had locations now. Divisions. Every division had a health center. And the locations down, a good number of them across the country, not all, had dispensaries and health centers, small clinics.
All right.
You get it?
I see.
Now, and for like 20 or so years, before SAPs came in, structural adjustment programs,
All right.
before they came in the 1980s, you walked into a hospital and got the best treatment and walked out.
All right.
Instead of us improving on that, we messed it so much that private hospitals came up,
All right.
just like we did in schools. Initially, even schools, big people used to fight to have places for their children in government national schools
Yeah, true.
because they were the best, even other public secondary schools.
All right.
We messed them now. The only way you can get your child a good education if you are a big man is a private school or outside the country. So we have done the same. What I'm arguing,
All right.
with all this infrastructure, and Moi came and added us Nyayo wards and everything, with all this infrastructure right up to the grassroots,
All right.
this many years after independence, what is so difficult with the government using some money which we have, revamping those hospitals, expanding somewhere there you need to revamp, establishing cancer center, renal centers within government facility. What is so difficult doing that? You get it? You walk into a hospital, it is free. This man is called Mudo. If he's Dr. Mudo, he opens a clinic, nobody goes in that clinic. Because government hospitals are doing well. We have the money, then you train more medical staff, doctors, nurses, paramedics, all those people. You train more, you pay them well. A lot of our medical health personnel are outside the country.
Right.
Bring them back, pay them well, train more, and life goes on. But people don't want that. They want to come up with something called NHIF as a conduit for eating. You get what I'm saying?
All right.
That is a problem I have with this country.
And sir, I personally take concern with NHIF in this sense.
Yes.
I find it more into commercial efficiency rather than, of course, maximizing social welfare benefit. Does this argument fly for you?
That is true. That is true. It's not just even the commercial. I wouldn't mind if it was run efficiently.
All right.
On a business model. I wouldn't mind.
All right.
I would sell my bigger thinking. Because my bigger thinking is radical. I would still live within this small thinking of NHIF. Let it be run well.
All right.
But it doesn't mean when you run it professionally as a business, you will not meet the core function of that organization.
All right.
You can run it along business model professionally, but reach the target, render the services you initially were formed to render.
All right. And recently, there was, as at 7th of July this year, we saw a huge undertaking by NHIF, and it digitalized all its, of course, services.
Yes.
And this was aimed at, of course, curbing malpractices in terms of, say, impersonation, in terms of course, you go to a hospital, I use your card for that service, and also colluding with, of course, insurers and manufacturing fake claims.
Yes.
Now, NHIF has digitalized its services.
Yes.
Is this now the silver bullet that that was long overdue, that now will steer NHIF towards prudent trajectories in terms of minimizing graft minimizing mismanagement of funds, etc.
Of course, it goes a long way in helping check on graft, but those are this is a system. The people who feed the system are the same thieves.
Really?
A good example, we celebrated IFMIS.
Yeah, true.
Right?
Absolutely.
Didn't we celebrate it?
We did.
What did we see with NHIF? What do we see with the counties?
All right.
A system is as good as the people who run it. If the people who create these systems are the same thieves, running, feeding those systems, they will just continue using them to steal. In fact, now even easier.
So the digitalization drive might be as good as null and void.
Unless the thinking is big and good. You see, this country has a problem. It has a deficit in thinking. We need big thinking.
All right.
Big
thinking.
That comes up with big ideas when we are doing something. When you have big thinking and big ideas and people who are capable of thinking, we can beat these crooks.
Now, Professor, what does the future for universal health coverage, of course, look like for you going forward?
It is dim.
Really?
I can assure you, we are going to get to a point where 95-7% of this, of the people of this country will not get health. People are just going to watch people die. Because most people have sold everything they need to sell. They was to sell. And with the cancer running through this country at an alarming pace, in the villages, people are dying from cancer. And with this cheap thinking of NHIF, with this lack of thinking from government, I'm telling you, Kenyans are going to be dying in numbers that somebody will have to come up with radical thinking. Because if you continue with this nonsense of NHIF, people have sold almost everything they was to sell. You live in the village for a month, you come back to Nairobi, you'll tell me the leadership of this country is completely out of touch with what's going on. People are dying in the villages from very preventable and manageable diseases. And the cancer now, you know, like FDA, we need the equivalent of FDA of America in this country. Because the careless foods we are eating from our restaurants, from things we are buying from supermarkets, imports that are of compromised standards, things people are eating now in the villages with boda, people are not doing exercises. Hata hapa mtu anapanda nduthi. You know what I'm talking about? Mandazi, that's like people's thing to do. If you are doing well, you need mandazi in the morning with chips mwitu in the villages. Cancer has gone to settle in the village. So we need good thinking. And I suspect, I doubt that NHIF can get us out of the hole we are in.
Well, all right. Thank you, Prof. That's all the time we had today on Business Glide, talking matters NHIF. And of course, 55 years later, it is still grappling with the same systemic failures that have been witnessed before. But of course, we here at Business Glide hope for the best. Of course, led by CEO Mr. Peter Kamunya, we pray for nothing but the best tidings for NHIF. Until next time here on Business Glide, my name is Richard Mwenja. See you then.